Across my lifetime, I've traveled to many remote areas of the world alone. You could say I've grown up on frontiers. I've learned along the way the extreme value of having a great guide, guidebook, and base camp. They can make all the difference to your travels, and they can truly open up new worlds. Here, I'll share with you some of my favorites, as together we learn how to get there. Hi and welcome. Today we're here and we're talking to somebody who's really interesting, and he's developed a unique guest house here in Kalimantan, and I would like to introduce him to you and have him tell you his story. Can you tell us your story?
Hey, good morning, Michael. Hello to the audience. Good morning. My name is Thomas Bronnimann. I'm from Switzerland, and I'm living here in the city, in this house, in this setting since 23 years now. But all in all, I'm here in the province since 27 years. So, my profession is carpentry. I'm a professional carpenter. I have my own carpentry workshop, timber industry, here in the city, a little bit outside. And we are producing timber homes. So we do knockdown houses, they call it here, element houses, which we produce locally in our factory, and we send all over the world. We do export, we do local work. And one of my favorite way of doing architecture is I'm a specialist in organic architecture. So that's my professional background, carpentry and organic architecture. So when I came here to PalangkaRaya, I knew, because of the 4 years before, that in order to survive here in a long term, or let's start in a different point. Most of the Westerners, they go pretty often to Bali, to hang out in Bali. Bali is the spot of Indonesia. Everybody loves Bali, and the hideaway place in Bali. And then I said, okay, when we're gonna live here long term and stay here, we have to create a kind of paradise. To not being used to go to Bali every once in a while, but to stay here and to come back home and coming back into an environment of peace, relaxing, and freedom. So I was looking for a piece of land in PalangkaRaya to build my property. And it was very difficult to find a piece of land with trees. And this is connected to the traditional understanding of the Dayak people. If somebody would like to sell a piece of land, he has to clean it. Cleaning means cutting all the trees, burning down everything. Then it's clean, and then you can make a sign for sale. If you put a sign for sale on a piece of land with trees, nobody will buy your land. It's not interesting in the traditional understanding. So I was going around searching for a piece of land with lots of trees. Then I found this with lots of trees. And so I found the owner, and the first, when I introduced myself to the owner and said, I'm interested in your piece of land, he said, oh, I'm gonna clean it. And I said, no, don't clean it, don't touch it. I'm gonna buy it as it is. And then he said, but this is you have to know, it's a kind of a spiritual forest. The local people say hutan anker. Hutan is a forest and anker is an anchor. So there is something anchored in this piece of land. And so it was a kind of abandoned by the owners because of obviously bad spirits. I said, okay, no problem. I'm a spiritual person. I'm an active Christian. And I believe that wherever, as soon as I become owner of a piece of land, it's a kind of the Holy Spirit takes over, and not whatever bad spirits. The bad spirits will go. They will not be comfortable here anymore. So it happened like this. So we purchased this land. I measured the position of every single tree before I started planning and designing the house. And then I designed the house in order to not harm one single tree. So I didn't cut any single tree. Whatever we have now here around with those different cottages and buildings is the result of, there was empty land, no trees on it. So I constructed everything all around, and here in the center, in the background, now we cannot see it very well, is a big rambutan tree. So all the doors are facing to this tree in the center of the garden.
Wow, nice.
And so I started to think about building materials, for sure. I'm a carpenter, so I build in timber. This is very clear, very obvious, because I think timber is a natural, living building material. It's breathing. So I do not use varnish, I do not close the structures of the wood, I just use it naturally. I use very strong, very hard timbers in connection with the soil. Outside parts which are wet all the time, they have to be made out of very strong tropical hardwood. But the major parts inside, the walls, this is only a kind of like pinus in Europe or in other regions, which is not very strong, but because it's dry and well maintained, it stands for years and decades, no problem. So then I made, because I'm really interested in building my own dream, I made lots of experiments here. So, for example, that part of those rooms here around is covered by a grass roof, which is my natural air condition. Tropical lifestyle means you are living here, as we sit here, on the roof, partly inside, partly outside. You live in the garden, you live with nature, it's a connecting with nature. In the night, you withdraw into a room. The room is closed, is screened, but with lots of cross ventilation, vertically and horizontal ventilation systems, and screened because of the mosquitoes. So then you can relax inside. We sleep under a mosquito net, and that's just normal. And then we have the roof, the grass roof in top, which we have a kind of 20 centimeters of soil in top of all the rooms. This soil is always wet. Evaporating humidity extract heat. So it's a kind of natural air conditioning. The rooms under this roof are cooled by natural physical processes.
Wow, that's very interesting.
So during the dry season, if it's really a long dry season, I have to watering the roof all the time. I have a hose with little holes in it, so I keep the water running for a couple of hours in the morning, then all the soil is wet. And during the hot time, during the day, when the sun burns down, straight down from under the equator, it cools down the most when all the other buildings all around with the iron shed roofs, etc., they heat up to crazy temperatures. But my house is cooling down. And I have a living space in top. I have a roof garden with flowers, with grass. It's a nice place to stay.
Well, you also have a guest house, right?
Yeah, that's a guest house.
If someone wanted to come here and stay with you, can you tell them how they could do that?
Yeah, we are on the websites. We are on all those booking platforms, internationally well-known booking platforms. So we are called PalangkaRaya Guesthouse. So you're going to find PalangkaRaya Guesthouse in Google and all those booking platforms. But yeah, also if you're just around here, you can pass by without even booking. Normally we have 1 or 2 rooms free, and we can make an arrangement. So, but it's really focused on this tropical lifestyle, which is different with all the hotels all around, because also even local tourists, sometimes they still prefer to have air-conditioned room made of bricks and tiles up to the ceiling. I don't know, very clean. I mean, it's clean. It's a timber home, but we have, for example, we have sometimes a spider web, because spiders are one of the most important biological indicators of healthy living. If you don't have spiders in a house, then something may be wrong. Maybe bad odors from carpets, poisoning stuff coming from the paint or whatever. So if you don't have spiders, it's a sign of, it could be critical.
If someone wanted to come and stay with you, could they also get tours?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
We're offering tours. We are offering ecotourism here in the city, but also deep into the heart of Borneo. So we are the only one in PalangkaRaya place offering tours. You have to have at least 7-8 days. So it takes 2 days, up to 3 days, to get into the heart of Borneo. And then if we can do forest trekking, we can do river rafting on the rapids of those very nice rivers, fishing tours, hunting, etc., whatever the local traditional diets.
How about wildlife viewing? Could somebody come and see the wildlife?
Yeah, we have one national park just close by to the city, and we have this rehabilitation center of BOS, the Borneo Orangutan Survival Foundation, which tries to get orangutans from captured orangutans in a kind of rehabilitation process to check their health, etc., and to train them to get released back into the wild. And this station is just close by, like half an hour outside of the city. And there people can really watch orangutans in more or less semi-wild conditions. They are captured, but in their traditional environment. And this is very interesting to see orangutans. In the wild, it can be difficult to meet orangutans in the very open forest. But lucky moments happens. And we have nice tours in the peat forest, peat swamps, here around, but even in the mountain forests deep inside. And we are promoting ecotourism. We have like a solar-powered boat on the river here in PalangkaRaya, so we can do boat touring with a solar-powered, electrical-powered engine. We have solar panels to charge the batteries, so it's ecologically sustainable.
If you're thinking about coming here for vacation, this is a great place to base out of, like a super base camp. I would think about this property. And thank you for telling us about your guest house here and about yourself.
Yeah, thank you very much to be here, and it's a nice opportunity to talk to you, to meet to you, and the audience. We invite to come to Central Kalimantan. We have lots of very interesting, nice places and spots to discover. And even here in the guest house, you can find orchids, wild orchids, hundreds of wild orchids we collected from fallen trees, planted here on our trees. You can see the traditional building materials. You can see a mix of traditional construction combined with very modern construction systems. So you're welcome to come here and to join us. And
Sounds great.
to listen to stories. We have a lot of stories to tell. Very interesting stories about the local people, how they think, how they survive, what they do, and it's also interesting for researchers to stay here. We have many researchers coming here, doing their PhD or master studies, and staying here, doing their internet work. We have quick internet, but then going out to the fields, doing the research, coming back, handling all the online work and paperwork and computer work. So we're open to everybody.
That's great.
Thank you very much for this opportunity.
And you're very welcome. And I'm glad to be able to show you this property so that all of you can see this too. And again, if you're looking for a base camp here, this is a very good base camp option.
Thank you very much.
We're doing this for all of you. If you like what we're doing, please give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment below. See you next time.